Hey guys, Tech here. Today's video is going to be on installing the BLTouch bed leveling system on the Ender 3 Pro. Let's take a quick look at what's in the box. The BLTouch, a bracket, pin board, ISP pin board, a burner, cable and some screws with some cable ties. First thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the cable, which has a white connector on one end, to the BLTouch. Then we're going to take the BLTouch and we're going to screw it into the bracket using the M3x6 screws. When you initially start to screw the screws in, you will notice that there's a bit of resistance. You just got to kind of keep turning and you will eventually get it nice, tight and snug. The next step in the process is to get the BLTouch attached to the printer. To do this, we're going to remove the two smaller screws which hold the fan shroud on the printer. Be careful here because once you remove the fan shroud, the cables are exposed as well as the hot end. Once you've loosened it off, you want to put the screw through the shroud and then through the bracket and then back onto the printer. Make sure you've got these nice and snug because we don't really want these to be able to move once everything is set up. Now that we have the BLTouch connected to the printer physically, we're going to need to do the cabling. So to get the cabling connected to the main board, we will need access to it. To start this process off, we're going to remove these screws from the main board housing at the top. There's one at the front, one at the back. Once we've taken these two screws out, we'll need to make our way to the bottom side of the housing. To do this, you're going to need to tip the printer on its side and you'll have 3 screws that we need to take off here. Once you've removed the 3 screws, be a little bit careful because there is a fan on the inside and the cable is connected to the main board, so you don't want to just let it drop off. Just make sure you hold it and gently place it down. In my case, I decided to remove the fan cable from the main board just so I could completely have the cover out of the way, but this is not absolutely necessary. You just need to be really careful. The next 2 items we're going to use are the ISP pin board and the burner cable. Now the burner cable is the one that has the USB on one end. We're going to take the burner cable and plug it into the ISP pin board. And then we're going to take the pin board and we're going to plug it onto the main board of the printer. This plugs into the slot right next to the ribbon cable for the screen, and then we're going to take the other end and we're going to plug it into a USB port on our laptop. And to know that this has successfully been connected, we'll get a nice blue light. Now we're going to move over to the laptop. The first thing we're going to need to do is go to the Creality site and download the ProGISP application and the hex file. Once downloaded, you're going to need to extract it. When you extract it, you may run into an issue. You will just need to rename the folder so that it removes any weird characters. Once done, open up the ProGISP application. Make sure the chip is set to 80MB1284P. Then click on the 3 dots on the right hand side. This will bring up the fuse and lock window. Change the values to D6, that's Delta 6, DC, Delta Charlie, and FD, Foxtrot Delta. And then click on write, close that window. In the top, click on load flash. Here you will load the hex file and then click on auto and you should see that the firmware will flash itself. Now that we're done on the laptop side of things, we can revert our attention back to the physical stuff. We're going to unplug the screen cable and the Z-axis stopper cable, grab our pin board, plug the screen back into the pin board. Then we're going to grab our cables from the BLTouch, run them down to the main board, and we are going to plug in the 3-pin black connector to the same pin board and then plug the pin board in where the screen used to go. Then we'll grab the red connector and we'll plug that into where the Z-axis stopper was. Now we can remove the cable for the Z-axis stopper and undo the 2 screws at the top, and we can completely take this away because it's no longer needed. Now we can start to tidy things up. We're going to put the cable in where the rest of the cables are, plug the fan back in if you took it out, and then put the casing back on and pop the 3 screws in. We can then stand the printer upright and pop 2 screws in from the top. Now that we got the housing all closed up, the next step is to take care of the cabling. You can take this to the next level by running the cable through the sleeve that's already present, but I didn't feel the need to do it, so I have just left it as it is. Once you've got all the cable ties on and you're sure that the cable is nice and secure, it's the moment of truth. We will switch the printer on and you'll see the BLTouch flip up and down 3 times. Now that we know the printer's up and running, we can start the bed leveling process. So click the round knob and click on prepare, then click on move axis and then click on move Z. This will allow you to move the Z axis down until the nozzle is in the correct position respective to the bed. This is a very important step, so please make sure you don't skip it. Once you've got this set, you want to go back to the main menu, click on prepare and then click on bed leveling. This will then kick off the automatic bed leveling process, which you will see here. I found that it was important to adjust the x-axis before actually kicking off the bed leveling itself, and when I tried it the other way, I found that the nozzle was just too far away from the print bed and it didn't work. In some cases you may need to store the Z offset settings. To get there, you go back to the main menu, click on Control, Motion, then Z offset, and here you can then enter the number that your Z should be offset by. Then go back 1 step and click on Store Settings to store these settings. And with that, we are done. You can now enjoy a 3D printer with a self-leveling bed. Just want to thank you all for watching, and if you found this useful, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys, take care.